Hello my beauties, Beks Thompson here, live from my beautiful garden this morning. And this morning we are going to talk about how to stop the back of lack impacting you and what the back of lack is. So many people have this, and I'm going to break this down for you so that you don't have to let it stop you. So let me know if you are here live this morning joining me. And if you join us later on, then please feel free to make comments and stuff, because I will see them later and be able to come back and help you out if you have any questions. So who am I? I'm Beks Thompson here on Bribie Island, and I am an integrated health and personal development specialist. I really help people to get out of their stuff, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, lifestyle, whatever it is, so that you can live better, live to your full potential without burning out. Get out of the shoulds and the trying so hard. There is another way, and I am here to help you do that. So let me know if you are watching this morning, because we have got a good one, and it deals with this, a bucket. What has this got to do with the back of lack, I hear you ask? So a lot of people suffer with back issues, and there are two main components to back problems. Hey, if you're watching, just let me know and we can say hi. There are two main ways that the back tends to show up. One is that there's a big arch in the back and the pelvis is tipped forward. And one is that there's a very flat back and the pelvis is tipped back. Now I want you to imagine your pelvis is like this bucket. Okay, where's the spout? I don't think I have a spout on the bucket. Okay, so this is the back of your body. This is your spine. And this is the front of your belly. And we have the back of lack tipping forward from the pelvis, making a big arch in the back. Or we have the bucket tipped back, making a very flat back. Now they are both the back of lack. Why? This way, with an arch in your back, imagine, hey Jeanette, imagine that you are emptying out your bucket. You've got a big arch in your back and your pelvis is tipping forward. You might see your belly sticking out a little bit. You're pouring out all your support. When you are tipped back, you're holding on to everything that you have for fear that someone might take it. Now the back is all around support. And so you either feel like you don't have any and you're just pouring it all out. Yeah, you don't have support from others. You don't have support from your environment. Maybe you don't feel like there's enough emotional support. It's this sense of something lacking. So you're just letting it all pour out. You just don't feel like there's anything there for you. If you are tucked back like this and your back has a sense of back of lack and you are tilted back, there's this sense that, well, no one's ever helped me before. I'm going to hold on to everything. I'm going to hold on and not let anyone in for fear that I'm going to lose. So there's two ways that this works. And have a piece of paper next to you. If you have back problems, which one do you have? Do you have an overarching back where you are pouring out all your support? Or do you have a flat back with your pelvis tilt back and you're trying to hold on because you've been let down too many times before? The universe has shown you again and again it's not supporting you, and you feel like you have to hold on. Is it this way or is it this way? And the ones that are tipped forward, there tends to be, to put the bucket down for a minute, when you're tilted forward, and this is most common with women, is that there's this sense of we are reaching out. So imagine with this tip forward, you're spilling forward. This is people that tend to have to reach out in the world to feel needed, to feel worthy, to try and get support. So they're still reaching out, still trying to get that support from an external source or other people or environment. But there's this sense that I don't have enough and I have to get this support, or I'm not enough and I have to get this support from out here. Those that are more tipped back and have the flatter back, there can be a sense of, well, I'm not going to let you see me. I'm not going to let you hurt me again because I've not been supported before. So I'm just going to shut that down and I'm going to hold back. And that's a different type of back, and more commonly seen in guys who can shut down a little bit more easily. But it's not, it's not specifically for men or women. It's just what I see most commonly. So that's the sort of physical way that it shows up, is to have this tilt forward, and it can be hard to tuck back, or you've got a flat back and it can be hard to get that lumbar curve back again. So as I'm sharing, notice what you pick up physically on your body, and also if any of those sort of emotional aspects are speaking to you. Because we can feel that there's a lack of support in different ways. We can feel that physically we don't have that support. You know, we literally feel a bit wobbly or stiff or tight in that area in our back. You can feel like the universe just hasn't got you. You feel like, I am just not spiritually connected. Everybody else is. I'm trying my hardest and nothing seems to manifest for me. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. The universe hasn't got my back. So there can be a sense that there's just no trust in the universe. You can feel as if there's not support in your environment or in the people around you. That you always feel that no matter what you do, no one really cares about you, or no one really is giving you the support that you need, and you're someone that's always giving others support, or you keep getting let down. So notice if that's you. You can feel as if emotionally you're just not getting support, again, from other people, or you just feel like you're not in charge of your own emotions, you're not supporting yourself. And this is the thing. When we are not fully supporting ourselves in a true level of what we need, we're not supporting our emotional self, we're trying to squash that down. We're not supporting ourselves with the environment and the routines we need to keep lifting us up. We're not supporting our own decisions and our intuition and our wisdom and our amazing awesomeness. We're not supporting that. We're living in fear and doubt. Then the universe doesn't support us. So what's the first thing you need to do is to look at how you're not supporting yourself. Is to know how it's showing up in other ways, but how are you not supporting yourself, either physically, emotionally, environmentally, surrounding yourself with the right kind of people that are going to support you. So what can you do? First of all, physically, we need to start playing with this movement, because if we don't get this normal movement back, if we stay in tilt forward or tuck back, then we're not supporting ourselves on a physical level. And if we don't have that movement, then it's going to affect our emotions. It's going to affect our energy, because all of these things are interlinked. You don't just work on the physical here, the emotional here, the environment here. When you work on one, it affects the other. So as we get more movement, emotionally we're freeing up. We're saying to the universe, I'm ready for support. I'm flexible. Yep, I'm going to create stability here in my body to hold stability and support energetically and emotionally, and for all the awesome things that want to come. Because if lots of awesome things come to you and you're stuck in this, you're just going to let them pour all the way out again. You can't, or you're going to hold on so tightly that they're going to let go. We have to be able to flow and imagine that in our pelvis area, in our low back area, we are holding and playing with this infinite potential and infinite abundance of energy within our body. Everything is so interlinked. So the first thing that you can start to do physically is to sit on the edge of a chair and start to rock backwards and forwards on your pelvis. And if you're just joining us now, we are talking about the back of lack and how physically, emotionally, mentally, and environmentally, and in so many ways that we need to address this and what it is, so that it's not holding you back from abundance in all areas of your life. So the first thing you need to do is to tuck back and tilt forward. Now, often people want to use, I'm just seeing if I can give you a little bit more range on this and just come down to my hips. I'm not sure if that's going to help you. But a lot of people try and move from here, from the upper belly. And we want to move from the pelvis and keep the movement to below the belly button. So we want to tilt back and feel the weight go towards the back of your pelvis, and then tilt forward and feel the weight come to the sit bones, and tilt back and tilt forward. I should say tuck back. Use back for tucking, tuck back and tilt forward. So when you have a go, often people find that this movement is quite sort of jagged, or it's a very big movement and it's coming from higher up in the belly. We want that movement to be isolated to below the navel for control, and we want that to be really smooth and rhythmic. Hey Tia, how are you this morning? Nice and smooth and rhythmic. That's the first step to being able to know what's happening with this bucket. Are you just staying tipped out, or are you holding on for dear life? You want to get that nice, slow, rhythmic, rocking movement. That's step one. And then you need to start moving towards getting more core stability. But again, people tend to go big and hard with this, and then all you're doing is working your big external muscles. You're not working that deep stability, which is what we really, really need. So get someone to show you, me or someone else, some really simple, safe core stability exercises. And the best way to work your lower core is to take your legs in and out from your body rather than trying to take your upper body up and down like in your usual kind of crunches and that kind of thing. We're looking more at the whole pelvis, the hips and the lower back stability. We don't want the upper body coming up and down. We're just going to use those big rectus abdominis muscles, and we don't want that. We want the deep core stability, because when you have that deep core stability on a muscular level around your hips and your pelvis, you are supporting yourself physically. When you support and feel supported in the lower back physically, then you unlock this capacity to have emotional support, environmental support, and people support. Yeah, it's amazing when you start doing this work, it unlocks other things. So we don't have to work and try so hard in all these areas. We need to touch on a few and they all start to release. But obviously, the more areas we can work on with an awareness that they all interlink, the quicker you get change, massive, massive change. So that's the first thing. You need to start getting that freedom of movement back and then start to progress that stability. And that's why I love yoga so much, because it is very functional movement that includes all different parts of your body working together. We don't isolate just, biceps like this. We're working the whole pelvis, hips and lower back in stability together, and that's what you want. And I see Tia on here. She does belly dancing. It's another great way to really access this area. So that's awesome. So what else can you do to address this back of lack? You really need to understand what aspect that I spoke about before. So if you're just joining us, go back when I finish this as we're talking about the emotional aspects. What emotional aspects do you really struggle with around support? What's underlying yours? Because then you can start to say to the universe as a bit of an affirmation, I am supported. I support myself and I'm supported by the universe. There is plenty to go around, and you need to make that specific for you and not just say it, people. You've heard me say this before. Don't just say stuff. Don't just say an affirmation. What does it feel like to feel supported? What would it feel like, and how would that look if you completely supported every decision that you made, every intuition that dropped in, if you gave yourself physical support, if people around you supported you, if you felt that you had abundance and wealth? What would that feel like? And that's what you have to cultivate in your body when you say an affirmation that I love and support myself and the universe supports me. You need to feel that. What does it look like? What would that feel like to have that? And how would that change things? Can you bring that in? Can you hold the charge of that? Because until you hold the charge of that, you're just saying words. It doesn't mean anything. Yeah? The beauty is if you start working physically in your core, you get a sense of what that support actually feels like energetically in your body. And it becomes easier to actually say that. Yeah? The key is, if you don't support yourself, the universe isn't going to support you. You have to strengthen your connection to your internal environment, because that is your support structure. There's no safety out here. There's no support in the external world, really. It's in flux. It's in change. The only thing that's unchanging is the internal experience of you, the very core of you. And you need to strengthen that experience to feel the support of the universe, to feel the support energetically and physically of yourself. And when you really trust in that, because you have honed that skill so well, then others and the universe and the environment and emotionally, you're going to start to feel more resilient and more supported. We need to build resilience in all these different areas, yeah? Otherwise, we stay in our default, feeling that there is a sense of lack, but trying to sort of pull it in, that support, or holding on for fear of losing again, or fear of being disappointed or let down. So strengthening your internal experience, there are lots of ways of doing that. But again, beautifully, in the work that I do, we center presence in the pelvic bowl, in, back and down in the lower third of the pelvis, like there's a warm weight sitting in, back and down in the pelvis. And we focus our awareness here. It feels beautiful and nurturing and safe space to be in. And from here, there are other ways that we can deepen that internal experience. But one of the ways that you can use that, if you like, in the world, is to drop into this center, in, back and down in the pelvis. And when things feel like they're really challenging you in the day, is to just stay with yourself, stay with your center, support yourself, your internal experience in that moment, and don't let your external environment bombard you and shift you and sway you. Don't lock up in that moment. Don't be pushed in that moment. Don't react in that moment. See if you can drop into your very core, in, back and down towards the back center of your pelvis, and strengthen your internal environment, strengthen your internal experience, strengthen your presence in a moment of challenge. Because then you are supporting yourself above all else. And when you support yourself, your environment and your experience outside tends to change and come on board with you. But if you are always in a sense of lack, tipping out forward or back, you're going to reach into any of those experiences. If you have a challenging experience, you're going to reach out and kind of go, oh my gosh, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? Or you're going to pull back and shut down and go, I'm not dealing with this because something might happen. I might lose something here. So notice what you do. Have a play today, your challenge today. If you accept it, give me a little thumbs up or a yes, Beks, I accept the challenge, is to play with this backwards and forwards, tuck and tilt in your pelvis. And to play with bringing your awareness into your pelvis. And if something challenging happens today where you feel a little pulled outside of yourself, to see if you can stay in your internal experience and drop into your pelvic center. Yeah, we call this womb space. Men can do it too, and it doesn't matter if you actually have a womb, but we're going to drop into that space and see if you can stay with your experience rather than coming out of it. So have a play with that, and I'd love to know how you got on and whether that resonated with you if you do have any back issues, and how to deal with it on a physical, emotional, mental and environmental level. And if you would love to learn more about this work and strengthening your internal presence, your internal experience, so that you become unwavering in your resilience, physically, emotionally, mentally, energetically, because when you're unwavering in that resilience, think what you could do. Think how amazing you can be. You can keep shining without getting exhausted, without compromising your health, without fear that you're going to lose everything. Yeah, when I started doing this work, I used to have intense headaches. I really struggled with self-worth issues that would hold me back. I really struggled with, like, where is my purpose? I burnt out as a physio. It's not how I wanted to continue being. And when I really started to commit to this embodied work that encompasses all these different levels in a way that is so tangible and practical for life, everything changed around. I'm the most vibrant health and energy I've ever had. I'm living in a place of complete abundance. I have gratitude every day. My business is so on track and on purpose that it is blooming, and my relationships are so much more juicy as well and connected. And I want that for you. I want that for every woman, because it is so possible. It just takes consistent action in the right way, and I can help you with that. And I have a free intro, a half-day event coming up here on Bribey on February the 17th. So just put yes, I want to know more about that down below, and I will PM you the details of the info on that and how to register. And I would love, love, love to see you there. The last one we had just a week ago or 2 weeks ago, we had women saying they had more out of these 3 hours. It's now going to be 4 hours, this next one, with me, than they had got out of, 3 years with someone they've been working with, as a therapist. And so it is that powerful. I'd love to see you there. Have a great week, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Blessings.